Hey there, welcome to Gals Get Real, where real women, real stories, and real talk come together. I'm Meghan.
I'm Kristin. Between us, we have 9 adult children with 6 daughters. Let's open up the conversations we never had with our moms and flip the script with the kind of connections we want with each other and our daughters.
We're here to laugh, cry, and dive into all the things, from everyday shifts to the curveballs and life pivots, and the messy, magical moments that make us who we are.
Today, we are so lucky to have Kristen Coffield on with us. Welcome, Kristin.
Hi, it's nice to be here, ladies. And I always think it's really fun when you meet somebody and then you get to continue the conversation.
Oh, we could not agree more.
Completely agree.
More on that a little later. Kristen, we just want to introduce you to our listeners. You are really redefining what it means to thrive in this next life stage. You are the visionary, of course, behind the Culinary, Cure, and active grandparenting, and really empowering a new generation of grandparents and active agers to see and seize the potential, the limitless potential, we like to say, of our most vibrant years. We just love this. Thank you.
Love it. It is so good. So it was awesome meeting you at the Morph Mom event with all the other amazing women that were down in Bethesda for the Talk to Me Bethesda event. And I guess we'd just like you to tell us a little bit more about your journey in terms of how you got here. Maybe tell us a little bit about the Culinary Cure, how that came to be.
Absolutely. I love to share my story because I think so much of my story is a little bit of every woman's story. My life was pretty textbook, picture perfect, right up until I got into my 50s. And I faced a lot of real life struggles and challenges in my 50s. My mom's cancer came back. My dad, who was pretty much estranged from all his kids, my parents divorced when I was young. It became clear he was having neurological decline. My husband, who's a giver, was in partnership with a taker, and that created a lot of financial burden for us that put strain on our marriage. We had 3 kids in 3 different schools, and when our last kid left the house and our dog died and I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer,
Oh my gosh.
I kind of look at, listen, everybody's life, everyone is going to experience some of these challenges, as you both know,
Yeah,
right?
That's
It's
right.
not all butterflies and rainbows. So
No.
the outside, my life looked really great. But every single day, I was on an internal journey just to get through that day. And when your big world, when you have a full active life, gets chipped away at over time, because this happened over time, not overnight, you really have to internalize to function, to get through each day. It takes everything you've got to get out of bed, put a smile on your face, and not let everybody know that things are really a shit show.
I love that. Yeah, it's honest.
No, it's so honest. And also probably to realize that it's happening when it's happening over time and not overnight. It's not like it just punches you in the face.
Right. No, you don't. You think it's going to change. You think you're going to wake up tomorrow and somehow all these problems are going to go away. So that was what began in my 50s.
Wait, can I just interject? Did you find yourself internalizing a lot of this, or were you pretty open and honest with your friends? Or
all right, I'm going to share some real,
real,
you
Kristin.
go there, girl.
Spill the tea, baby. Your friends don't want to hear when your life is awful for a decade. People get tired of hearing about it. They don't want to hear about it. They don't believe you. Your husband's a great guy. What do you mean you're in financial trouble? Like what? Blah, blah. So you learn to just not talk about it. And so it's all inside. I actually had that thing. I think it's called disassociating. I used to actually find myself in social situations where my mouth was moving, but there was something else completely going on inside. I was there physically, but I was not present.
Wow.
Wow.
And this got worse and worse. So, I mean, and then I'm diagnosed with thyroid cancer, right? And it's just like everything, but every woman listening to this, I know you can relate to some part of the story, whether it's the financial or the health or the parents or things with the
100%. Yep.
kids.
That's right. Or 75% of it, all of it, whatever.
Yeah,
We're all experiencing something.
that's right. You know better than most people, I think, about that
Yes, you
and what
do.
that can be like. So I had a day where I woke up, and of course, I had been waking up for 5 or 6 years with my first thought being, how am I going to get through this day? And when can I go back to bed so that I can't sleep, but I can lie here in a state of angst?
With your mind going wide awake in the middle of the night.
like I'm plugged in. I'm literally lying in bed, vibrating anxiety.
No rest for the weary. And the cycle just continues each day,
That's
right?
Well, and the more you believe that your thoughts are true, the more you think your negative thoughts, the worse everything gets. It is all connected.
Yes.
Your hormones, your thoughts, your outlook, what comes to you each day. If you want to have a bad day, wake up thinking you're going to have a bad day, and it will happen. I promise.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So I had a morning where I woke up and I just thought to myself, this cannot be what the universe had in mind for me. I can't imagine that the rest of my days are supposed to be so meh. And that's when I decided to find the one thing that I could do that would have the most profound effect on how I felt, how I slept, what my energy was like, my emotions. And that's when I discovered hydration. So I did a deep dive on hydration, and what I learned really blew me away. I learned that hydration is this foundational functional practice that most of us are not using to optimize everything else that we're doing. So we're grinding it out at the gym, we're taking fancy supplements, we're going to the doctor for all sorts of things. But if we don't have the hydration in place, we can't accomplish any of these other things. It's really just, you're just going to keep finding yourself back going in a circle. So I did this deep dive on hydration. I practiced on myself, and it changed everything. I was able to handle the stress better. My sleep did improve, but not much. I felt better,
Right.
and I sure looked better. Well, I'm still not sleeping. So I can lie in bed and be angsty, or I can get my fanny up and out and find a 5 a.m. workout. So that's what I did. So
Smart.
yeah, but I'm up anyway, not getting any sleep. Why not get to the gym? So I'm going to the gym. And what that is doing is it's helping to balance my hormones. It's helping to get rid of some of those stress hormones. I'm feeling stronger and more capable. And I've kind of got the guts to deal with some of my situations. So now I'm hydrating, I'm exercising. I had been a wellness coach for a long time. My background's culinary. I'm a chef by training.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that, but it totally makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I call myself a culinary wellness coach. So I teach people how not just to understand that food can be their medicine, but I teach them how to actually create recipes and habits that make it easy. Because we
Right.
all know what we should do. It's doing what we know that is the hard part.
Kristin, I want to reference your book, How Healthy People Eat, in just a second here. But have you put together a cookbook or several as well? Or is that something coming?
Well, seeing as you asked,
Tell us more.
there are over 200 recipes at my website, theculinarycure.com. I have a writing partner, and she and I put together a book proposal for Active Grandparenting 101. And our book agent said, oh, this is not going to be a problem. He went to one fairly large publisher, and they picked up the book right away.
No,
Oh
that's
my
unheard
gosh,
of. Congratulations.
congrats.
Thank you.
Amazing.
And there is a recipe section in the book that includes about 20 of my most beloved, easiest, nutritionally dense recipes.
Well, I love that.
Love
I love the
that.
ease of it. And especially if we're talking grandparents, people that have grandkids, it's got to be tasty, nutritious, easy, all the things.
If it's not easy and it doesn't taste good, why the heck would you eat it?
That's right.
Agreed.
That's right.
Agreed.
That's right. Well, speaking of books, you did, as I said, write the book, How Healthy People Eat, An Eater's Guide to Healthy Habits. And I mean, just chock full of tips and references from the hydration that you talked about, I think incorporating lemon, et cetera, to the specific benefits. And I love this section of the book where you talk about everything from, saffron to sea vegetables, for example. It's just a really helpful guide. I got through it in about 2 seconds. And then went back and dove in again. So really a great guide. Can you tell us more about how that particular piece came to be?
I was approached by someone who wanted me to write my culinary cure manifesto, basically. And my husband's an attorney, and she gave me a contract, and it was like 60 pages long. And my husband read it and he goes, "Well, I don't know why you wouldn't do this. They're going to do so much for you, blah, blah, blah." Well, it turns out I was dealing with a crazy person.
Oh, gosh.
I flew to Sweden to work with a book writing coach. I wrote a book. I did all the things I was supposed to do. I delivered it. I got myself booked on podcasts and TV shows, and I was a keynote speaker at events, which was all my part of the contract. And then the wheels came off the bus. This woman wouldn't give me back my information and threatened to sue me.
Wait, stop the madness. How is that even possible?
I kid you not. My husband's an attorney too. And finally, we just decided it wasn't worth it. And I had 60 days because I told all these different events that I had a book, and that was part of my deal. And my graphic designer and I did this book in 60 days using a lot of the things that I had done on my Instagram. I had done a whole series on nutrition on my Instagram. So we doubled down, we created the book, we self-published, and then afterwards, a small publisher picked it up and republished it. But it was a nightmare.
That's crazy.
And that's how the book came about. So I never got we just left, we just walked away from that. But what I wanted to do was create a book that would kind of give people an entry point, no matter where they were in their wellness journey, to understanding the power of food as part of that journey. Because when you buy food, what you're really buying are nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
It's not calories, people. It's nutrients. And so I wanted to talk about nutrients, and I wanted to create something that was really just a primer, just something to give people enough information to inspire them to want more, but also enough information to act on. And that's how Healthy People Eat, An Eater's Guide to Healthy Habits came about.
Well, and that's a crazy story, but I love
making a solution out of a problem.
Exactly.
And leaving the problem behind, by the way. Too.
Totally. And a lot of things just aren't linear, right? You kind of find yourself in this situation and then you have to pivot. And well, I will say one of the things that resonated with me, well, there was two things. One, I love the fact that you said, eat until you're 80% full, because nobody loves that feeling of being so stuffed to the gills. If you're just kind of full, satisfied, and then you sort of implied that 20 minutes later, you're really going to feel full rather than stuffing yourself and then feeling terrible or in 20 or 30 minutes. I thought that was a great piece of advice. So sort of eat slowly, notice, feel your,
let yourself chew.
Exactly.
Because of all the chemical reactions that come out of just that whole process.
I thought that was great. And then the other thing was, as you're talking about food is not about calories, it's about nourishment. We have 6 daughters between us. And I do think, I have 2 boys. She has a son as well. So I would say men and women, but because we're focused, or young men and young women, but because we're focusing a little bit more on women here, I feel like my girls that's one really good thing from this generation. They really do eat to nourish. When we were young, I felt like it was all the crazy exercise, feel the burn, calories in, calories out. Do you find that a little bit with the younger generation, that they sort of have a different approach in terms of actually nourishing their bodies versus you kind of have to teach it a little bit maybe to women our age because that wasn't how we grew up, or not so much?
Women today have access to more information through, you can just go on ChatGPT and get a whole whatever
Yeah,
nutrition
rundown.
plan. They are still influenced disproportionately over men by social media and magazines. And there is, without a doubt, an emphasis on being thin. It's still there, being
Right.
thin over being healthy. And I think that's somewhat of a battle that we as parents have to help them fight by reinforcing that being healthy, that is the currency. That's the money, baby.
Mm.
If you're not healthy, you are going to struggle for the rest of your life. I mean, I'm sorry, you lose your health and wellness, you spend all your time and money trying to get it back. So the more we can help young women understand the power of using nutrition to support all of their goals, their fitness, their wellness, their vanity goals, their academic goals, because you want to nourish your brain too. I mean, seeing food and hydration as the most important supplements in your stack is really the message I would want to share with people. And I've got to tell you, I'm running my 21-day wellness reset right now. And darn if somebody doesn't ask, can I eat the egg yolk?
Oh gosh, are you serious?
I'm serious. And these are women over 50, and they're still worried about calories. And I'm
Yeah.
like, eat the egg yolk. I hope you're eating 2 egg yolks a
Or
day.
more.
Like,
Exactly.
and hey, maybe just do what I do on occasion, which is going to the fridge and taking a tablespoon of butter and eating it.
No, exactly.
It's not a quick fix. It's a journey, which includes a balance of things, I would say.
Yeah, I think we've got to re-educate people and get away from the outdated model that is calories and get in line with nutrients. What do you want from this food? How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? What kind of energy are you looking for? Because food is the fuel this engine runs on.
That's not always just an age thing, right? As we age, I mean, along the way, we might feel certain ways or come across certain hiccups in our health that require food to be the medicine. I love that concept.
Yeah. And I think when you reorganize your thoughts around this, something's going to happen. You've got daughter. I have a daughter who is a Division I college athlete, and
Yeah, same.
something's
Yeah.
going to happen. You're going to slip on the ice and sprain an ankle. You're going to get a bad diagnosis. Something unforeseen happens. And the goal is really to put the wellness odds in your favor. So when that something does happen, you're in the best possible situation to repair and recover and keep going.
I love that. Yes.
And the other thing is, what do you want aging to look like? I'm 67. I'd like to think,
Stop. You look amazing.
oh, thank you.
No, actually.
Everybody
Thank
look her up on
I'm
Instagram.
not just throwing around the compliments.
Right.
You really do. And we've met in person, so I know you look fabulous.
I'd like 77 and 80 to look a lot like this. Well, your habits are 43% of what you do every single day. You don't think you're just on autopilot. And when we can tweak our habits a little bit so they're helping us, not hurting us, we're putting those wellness odds in our favor. We're banking our future wellness. And so if you can just get through 5 days a week doing healthy eating and you've got your hydration locked and loaded, Then when you have a weekend, when you go out to dinner or you go to that great restaurant or it's somebody's birthday and you want the cake or it's just Cinco de Mayo and you want to enjoy it all, it's no big deal because you're going to get back on track
Right.
with your hydration and your nutrients the next day. So.
No, I agree. You got to let loose sometimes.
Absolutely. And since you brought up age, we did not. But obviously, we've spoken with you. We've watched your videos. You have some really good things to say about being an active grandparent. Or if somebody's not a grandparent, we get the point. Being in that age, that life stage, and feeling better than ever. So can you talk to us a little bit about that? Or
Yeah. How did the whole active grandparenting thing begin? Was it because you had a grandchild? Was it?
Okay, great question. So when we talked about when I had that thrive or die moment with hydration and I decided to hydrate, that was the beginning of the culinary cure. I knew that all the things I was experiencing, other women were experiencing also. And at that point, this is like 15, 16 years ago, at that point, I create the Culinary Cure as a resource for women who are going through these things, but they don't have a roadmap and they want to have some info from somebody who's already been on that journey and done the homework. So I'm already in the Culinary Cure. I'm in a wellness space that's very crowded. There's a lot of young energy in the wellness space. And I get myself to like 25,000 followers, hard-earned followers on Instagram who like my messaging. I'm not in the menopause space. There's a whole menopause mafia out there.
Oh, gosh, yes.
So I kind of missed that boat. I was in the pro aging. I kind of was in the next phase of life. And I become a grandparent for the second time. And I post a video of myself holding a baby and getting up and down off the floor without using my hands. Now, this is a functional movement everybody should do because it's directly linked to aging. It's kind of like if you fall down, how are you going to get back up? Whatever that looks like, you've got to be able to get back up. So I put this video up on my Instagram. I hashtag active grandparenting and it blows up. I get millions of views.
Wow.
In my Instagram, like 10 X's in the span of a year. So I go from 25,000 to 250,000 followers, engaged, curious. And I realized that I've really touched into an active aging segment that is hungry for more information. And what is so interesting about the space is these are women who know a fair bit about wellness, but are they doing it all? They become grandparents. And when you become a grandparent, it's a real eye opener because although you may be fit, you may be paying attention to what you eat and drink, you're going to be doing movements you haven't done for 30 plus years. You're going to be getting up and down off the floor like 50 times a day. I'm sorry, you're just not doing that. So you're using muscles you haven't used. You're stressed. You're taking care of a baby again. So you've got to be able to do all the things that the parents do, except you're 30 plus years older. And that's where active grandparenting came to life. So I immediately set about trademarking active grandparenting because I knew that I was talking about a trend that I saw happening. And it's grandparents who are showing up in ways that our own parents often couldn't or didn't.
Right. That's very true. Good point.
Yeah, maybe because of distance, maybe, families sort of, I have 2 kids on the West Coast and a kid in Massachusetts. That's where my grandkids are, but I'm in Washington, D.C.
Right.
So here we are at the dawn of this new generation of modern grandparents who want to be actively involved. And the really interesting thing to me was our generation and our children, it's almost more like we're one big generation. We wear the same clothes. We listen to the same music. We communicate more like friends.
Yeah. That's a very interesting point. I agree 100%.
The lines are a little bit more blurred.
Right.
Between
It's not quite the
generations.
mother-daughter. It's
The formality is different.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then when you add in this grandparenting bit, all of a sudden I was like, whoa, what is this going to look like? And how do I become in demand? Not just the obligation, but like, how can I be a partner in this time in my children and grandchildren's lives? And newsflash, you've got like 10 years with your grandkids before their schedules get so busy that grandparents are nice, but they're not that interesting.
Oh, I have goosebumps. I think that approach is perfection. And I also think, is it fair to say that if you build that over the first 10 years, then you have that relationship. And yes, it changes. They're teenagers, they're older, but like they're still hyped when you show up at their game. They're still excited to go out to dinner with you because you've taken time to build those blocks to kind of build up the relationship when they're younger.
That is absolutely true. And a little tidbit about me, up until the time I was 16, I had two great grandmothers.
Wow.
My grandparents on my dad's side were divorced. So I had three sets of grandparents. My mom was divorced and she was a single lady. Can you imagine what that was like in a small town in the 60s? And she was very pretty. That couldn't have been easy. But
She was basically swimming alone.
yes.
I mean,
Kristen's mom was similar.
yeah, my mom was in the 70s and I felt like she was at it alone. I can't imagine for a woman in the 60s.
Yeah. She's amazing. And she had some hard decisions to make. She had to decide, was she going to take a job in New York? But instead, she opened a shop. She was an interior designer and she opened a shop. And that became like a third child. My sister and I would go there after school and hang out because it was like a form of childcare. We were there, but she was working.
Right.
So that was my childhood. My grandparents played a really big role. And I was very close to all of my grandparents for my whole life. And so the role of grandparenting today is a little bit different in many ways because our kids are getting married later. They're having kids later. And we're older when we're becoming grandparents for the first time.
Exactly.
My gosh, I think my grandmother was like in her 50s easily. She might have even been in her late 40s.
Yeah,
I think
my
she
mom was in her early 50s. I mean, my mom got married on the younger side. I got married on the younger side. I mean, that's not going to be
It's not going to be that
me.
The movement forward. That's not what we're saying.
No, which is interesting. And my kids actually, I have 5 kids. They have all 4 of their grandparents, which my oldest daughter's 28. And so that's pretty unusual. And they all have a close relationship with their grandparents, which is special.
We interviewed 2 of our daughters recently, and they both were very passionate about the fact that they both had their grandparents and a close relationships with their grandparents. It was very important to them, which I thought was an interesting kind of
full circle
experience for them. I love that.
Yeah. And when you think about the traditional family model, the grandparents were in it.
Yeah, definitely.
There was help with cooking and childcare and emotional support. And sort of this was part of the scaffolding of family life was to have this multi-generational approach. And then that changes to a certain degree, not for everyone, but for a lot of people. And now, because of socioeconomic changes and a desire by many grandparents to continue to be dynamic contributors to family life, we're seeing a movement of active grandparenting. And I'm here to tell you it's a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure. Everybody says it's the absolute best.
It's the absolute best, but it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have had one of those big hikes or something planned in your life. Well, you would train for that. And I'm here to encourage people to think about grandparenting as a goal, as something you're training for, so you can show up strong. Because if you need help yourself, guess what? You can't be helpful. And if you are locked in outdated models of what you think the role of a grandparent looks like, you kind of need to take the blinders off. And there is a lot of information out there. You can go to my website at activegrandparenting.com or follow my Instagram, but there are other people in the space who are providing resources. Parents have a ton of resources, but grandparents really need resources that are specific to them,
Right.
because so much of what we're talking about is about communication and healthy boundaries and getting that part right. So the other part, the fun stuff, can kind of fall into place organically.
Wow. That's interesting because I think you're right. It's not just about being healthy so you can do the active stuff. It's a little bit emotional, right? There's boundaries. They're raising their kids differently. It's their turn, all the things.
Yeah, grandparenting is not a parenting redo.
That's right.
It's a whole new role, and it can profoundly affect your relationship with your child. And my daughter and I are so close because my husband and I have made this choice to be active grandparents. And that's emotionally, it's psychologically. You got to have a thick skin
Right.
because you're going to step in it, and you're going to have to be spoken to about something.
Oh, I
That's
don't
right.
doubt it. I
That's
can
right.
already see it coming. I love the real, raw honesty coming from you because every single friend of mine who has a grandchild, they're like, it's amazing and wonderful. You love them like no other, but be careful because you're going to get it thrown back at you
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to being able to take the criticism from your own kids about, it's a real role reversal. But getting yourself prepared for that can really deepen the bond when they know it's safe to say to you, hey, I know we talked about this thing. In my case, my Instagram blows up and I'm using pictures of my grandkids. And my daughter says, Mom, you've gotten a little relaxed about showing their faces. And you can use
Interesting.
them, but I don't want their faces shown. And she was right. She had spoken to me about it, and I'd just gotten a little lazy with my editing. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And I went back through, I either edited or archived those posts. And there was a boundary that was set. And she said, you can keep using pictures as long as you respect my wishes. So these are the kinds of conversations. I mean, I'm even telling you this and I'm like feeling stressed.
Well, let's assure you, Kristen, they still look adorable from a distance and from different angles. They're super
Yeah.
cute.
And I just like the honesty because, you think of active grandparenting and a lot of you are just, if you're looking at your Instagram, it is the physicality of it. But I think it's great to hear that there's an emotional side too, right? It
just drills home once again every life stage, like all parts of having wellness, right? Of securing, seizing wellness, mind, emotions,
Absolutely.
physicality.
relationships, it's all intertwined.
Yeah. And communication is like this number one thing. It's like the hydration of emotional connection.
Oh, I like that. The hydration of emotional connection. And it really is communication, whether it's, I guess, with your kids and the grandkids, with your marriage, with close friendships. If you don't have solid, good communication, everything else sort of falls by the wayside.
Yeah. It's so important. And so active grandparenting is just a branch of active aging, right?
Mm.
So active aging is the goal of creating a health span to match your lifespan. And active grandparenting is just sort of a branch off of that. There's nothing I teach on my Instagram or in my book or my programs that doesn't really apply to everyone. I have specifically put it in this branch because I know that grandparents really want information that makes sense to them. And This is the why. When you understand why something is so important and why doing this is going to make it easier for you to show up as a grandparent, then you're motivated to
And you're
do it.
motivated and you can find the how. I mean, even if you require modifications, obviously I had a medical trauma. My biz partner here, Meghan, had knee replacement surgeries. You can find the how. That's easy, as you said, to get the resources. But if you know why and you have your motivation, that's really the key step
Totally.
to figuring out the rest of it.
Love it. Love it. So we like to end our podcast with a quick question. It's usually the same question, one of two questions. Today, the question is, when did you last experience a what the actual F moment? I'm with you on that one.
Probably it's something I experience on a pretty regular basis. So whenever I am at the grocery store and I see what people have in their carts, I realize there's still so much work to be done. People are filling their carts with foods that are not nutrient dense and are going to leave them hungry for more or addicted to foods that contain artificial ingredients and added sugars and things. So that's my recurring nightmare, is holding my tongue in the line at the grocery store.
and probably seeing carts way more packed than they should be. You
Right,
talk about that in the book too.
Waste is a huge problem. People throw out so much food. So I would just leave you with my thoughts on that. Buy less, better food. Have a plan for all the food that you buy, and don't waste. So you're using all the food and you're buying nutrients, not calories. So buy less, buy better, and have a plan for everything you buy.
Perfection. We love that. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time. This was such a treat. And hopefully we will see you, chat with you soon.
And I have to tell you, Kristin, not that this is necessarily recording, although maybe it is, but I love your lemon shots because, first of all, I love lemon on everything. I mean, probably
I have to
ice
try
cream, the
those.
whole
I'm
thing.
assuming they're like healthy lemon shots.
Oh, no, I mean her pictures. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, lemon shots. I'm thinking a lemon shot, as in, should I be doing a shot in the morning, but obviously not with alcohol? We know that there are literally a million podcasts out there, and so many of them are so, so good. We'd love for you to tell your friends, daughters, and all the women in your life to tune in, get real, and share all the things.
Yes, share your stories with us by DMing and following us on Instagram at Gals Get Real Pod. And please subscribe, like, and share wherever you get your podcasts.
Until next time, lots of love.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.